If one day you were told that your religion, your identity, or even your name could put you in danger, what would you do? If a single accusation could change your entire life, what would you do? If you lived with the fear that your children's future, your family's safety, and your freedom were at risk, what would you do? These questions are not limited to one individual. They are the questions faced by millions of refugees around the world. They are also questions that many Christian families in Pakistan have been asking for years. This is the story of persecution, fear, insecurity, and the search for justice among Christians in Pakistan. The Christian community has played a significant role in education, healthcare, nursing, social services, and nation-building both before and after the creation of Pakistan. Many schools, colleges, hospitals, and charitable institutions across the country stand as a testimony to these contributions. Thousands of Christian doctors, nurses, teachers, soldiers, and public servants continue to serve Pakistan. Yet one question remains: do all Christians in Pakistan truly feel safe? According to many Christians, the issue is not limited to discrimination. They describe it as persecution. Persecution is not only physical violence or murder, it is also the fear that silences people, forces families to leave their homes, and keeps entire communities living in uncertainty. Pakistan's blasphemy laws have existed for decades. Supporters argue that these laws are necessary to protect religious sanctity. However, human rights organizations, minority representatives, and legal experts have repeatedly expressed concerns about their possible misuse. Many Christian families say that their greatest fear is not punishment itself, but the accusation. A single allegation can affect not only the accused person, but also their family, children, neighborhood, and sometimes an entire community. In 2009, the case of Bibi gained international attention. Following a dispute over drinking water in a village in Punjab, she was accused of blasphemy. She was sentenced to death and spent nearly 8 years in prison. Later, Pakistan's Supreme Court acquitted her. However, concerns about her safety continued even after her release. Her case became one of the most widely known legal cases in Pakistan's history. In 2012, the case of Rimsha Masih emerged. A young Christian girl living near Islamabad was accused of blasphemy. The case was eventually dismissed, but many Christian families experienced fear, displacement, and uncertainty. The case raised serious questions about the impact of such accusations on vulnerable communities. 2 events in 2011 changed this debate forever. Salman Taseer, the governor of Punjab, publicly expressed concern about the application of the blasphemy laws and spoke in support of Bibi. On January 4, 2011, he was assassinated in Islamabad by his own bodyguard. The incident attracted worldwide attention. Only 2 months later, Federal Minister for Minorities Affairs Shahbaz Bhatti was also assassinated in Islamabad. Shahbaz Bhatti was the only Christian member of Pakistan's federal cabinet. He spoke openly for minority rights, religious freedom, and justice. He repeatedly expressed concern about the possible misuse of blasphemy laws. His death deeply shocked Pakistan's Christian community. Even today, many people ask, if a governor and a federal minister could lose their lives for speaking about these issues, how safe can an ordinary citizen feel? This question leads us to the major attacks that Christian communities have faced across Pakistan. In 1997, the Christian community in Shanti Nagar came under attack. Homes, churches, and properties were damaged and destroyed. Later, in 2005, the Sangla Hill incident occurred. Following allegations of blasphemy, churches, schools, and Christian homes were attacked. Numerous families suffered losses, and once again the question emerged: can an entire community become a target because of accusations against an individual? In 2009, the tragedy of Gojra took place. Following allegations of blasphemy, Christian homes were attacked and set on fire. Reports indicated that several people, including members of the same family, lost their lives in the violence. The Gojra incident remains one of the most painful tragedies in the history of Pakistan's Christian community. It once again raised a difficult question: why does an accusation against one individual sometimes result in punishment for an entire community? In 2013, Joseph Colony in Lahore became the scene of another major attack. After a Christian man was accused of blasphemy, a mob attacked the Christian neighborhood. Hundreds of homes were burned or damaged, and many families were displaced overnight. The Joseph Colony incident demonstrated how a blasphemy accusation can extend far beyond the courtroom and affect an entire community. Attacks against Christians in Pakistan have not been limited to homes and neighborhoods. Places of worship have also been targeted. In 2001, a church in Bahawalpur was attacked during a worship service. Several worshippers lost their lives. The attack shocked the Christian community because churches are places where people gather for prayer, peace, and hope. When places of worship are no longer safe, fear spreads throughout an entire community. In September 2013, the All Saints Church in Peshawar suffered one of the deadliest attacks against Christians in Pakistan's history. As worshippers were leaving Sunday services, suicide bombers detonated explosives outside the church. Dozens of people were killed and more than 100 were injured. The attack drew international condemnation and left deep scars on countless families. For many survivors, this was not simply a news headline. It was a life-changing tragedy that would never be forgotten. In 2015, 2 churches in the Christian-majority area of Yuhanabad in Lahore were targeted in suicide attacks during Sunday worship services. Multiple people were killed and many others were injured. Yuhanabad is one of the largest Christian communities in Pakistan, and the attacks once again raised questions about the safety of people gathering peacefully for worship. The aftermath brought fear, grief, anger, and uncertainty. Once again, Christians across the country questioned whether they could truly feel secure in their own places of worship. In 2023, another major incident shocked the nation. In Jaranwala, near Faisalabad, allegations of blasphemy led to widespread attacks on Christian homes and churches. Numerous churches and properties were damaged, and many families were forced to flee for safety. The Jaranwala tragedy is particularly significant because it is a recent event that reminded the world that concerns about the safety and protection of religious minorities in Pakistan remain unresolved. Alongside attacks and blasphemy-related violence, another issue has drawn national and international attention: the cases of underage Christian girls who are allegedly abducted, converted, and married against their will. Human rights organizations have repeatedly expressed concern about such cases, arguing that vulnerable minority families often struggle to obtain justice. One of the most widely discussed cases was that of Arzu Raja. In 2020, the family of the young Christian girl from Karachi alleged that she had been abducted, converted to Islam, and married to a significantly older man. The case attracted widespread media coverage and sparked debate about child protection, consent, and the rights of minority families. Another case involved Huma Yunus, also from Karachi. According to her family, she was a minor Christian girl who was abducted, converted, and married. The case raised serious questions about whether underage girls can freely consent to such life-changing decisions, and whether legal systems provide adequate protection to vulnerable children. The case of Maria Shahbaz from Faisalabad also gained international attention. Her family alleged that she was abducted, forcibly converted, and forced into marriage. Human rights organizations highlighted her case as an example of the challenges faced by minority girls seeking protection and justice. These incidents raise a broader question. Are these isolated events, or do they reflect a larger environment in which many Christians feel vulnerable because of their faith? For many Christians, persecution is not limited to a single act of violence. It is the fear that follows an accusation. It is the uncertainty that forces families into hiding. It is the anxiety that affects children's futures. And for some, it becomes the reason they seek safety beyond the borders of their homeland. World Refugee Day reminds us that every refugee has a story of a home, a family, a dream, and a person searching for safety, dignity, and freedom.